Hi, it's me, Chio. Welcome. So, I didn't think I was going to be the kind of author that did a lot of interviews. Honestly, when I started writing, my mind was just fixed on writing the book and getting the book to bookstores when that ever happened. But what I didn't expect is that I have to do a lot of author interviews. But I found it was part of the process. So there were interviews that were done because I requested it, or the publisher arranged it, or someone reached out to me. And each of these interviews had their own process. And as I started doing these interviews, I started noticing the difference in how I felt about them, the approaches to them. So I figured it was reasonable to make a video informing both the authors and the interviewers of the process to help them where it is needed. Of course, this is from my personal experience, so the advice, the tips, etc. that I'm giving this video is strictly from my own experiences and what I believe should go into doing an author interview. Now, why it's important to know these things is because an author interview is beneficial to both the author and the interviewer, and it is entertaining and informative to the viewer or the readers or potential readers. A lot of authors use the author interview to get their book out there, to explain what they really wanted to accomplish with their book, and to defend their writing, talk about the writing, brag about the writing if they can. While the interviewer, most interviewers are either people who are really curious about the author's works or people who use it as a profession, so they need to build that profession. So this information benefits everybody. This video is going to be divided into sections and then subdivided further. So the first section is information the interviewer needs to have. And the first part is for the interviewer, which starts with things you have to do before the interview. Number one, research the writer. I think this is a very simple one because when you're interviewing somebody, they have to know that you know who they are. They don't want to show up and feel like you've never even met them before, heard of them, and you're just saying words that don't really relate to them. It makes the author feel disconnected from the interview. So it's always important to research the writer. You don't even have to go too far. If they have a website, you can check what they did on their website. If they have social media, you can go on their social media to see the kind of content they post, to give an idea of what they think or what their work is about. And their books, have to research their books, know what type of book they're writing, what audience, their target audience. Are they writing for children? Are they writing for adults? Are they writing for a very specific group of people or a more general group of people? And what genre are they writing? Are they writing horror? Are they writing romance? Are they writing fantasy, fiction, non-fiction? Those things help you know what direction to take your interview. Number two, read their books, or at least read the ones related to what the interview is about, especially if the writer wasn't the one who approached you. Now, when the writer approaches you, that's a different scenario because they are giving you work to do and you might not be able to accommodate some certain request. But it is nice to read their book because that will help the interview seem more natural, more unique, informed, etc. But this is mostly important if you are the one who approached the author. Talking from experience, I cannot tell you how jarring it is to show up for an interview and realize that the interviewer has no idea what your book is about. It puts you in this weird position of not knowing, you put the author in this position of not knowing what they're doing there, what to really say, how to interact with the interviewer, because the book is the central thing to the interview. And if they have no idea what your book is about, then you basically don't really have an interview going on. It also can come off across as impolite because it feels like you don't actually care about this author's work and you're just using them for yourself, especially if you reached out to them. So it's always good to put in that extra work of reading the book you're planning on interviewing them based on. Now, in instance when it was the author that reached out to you, they usually offer copies of their book for free to help with the interview process. And in a situation when they don't do that, or you don't have time to read the book because of maybe a short time frame before the interview, it is good to look for reviews, summaries, etc. available about the book to help you during the process. Number three, give advance notice, preferably about a month before the interview. A lot of authors and interviewers have full schedules. They have interviews happening every week, more than once a week. Authors also have these things happening. They have to plan for different types of interviews and they're doing their main job, which is writing. And a lot of authors are not public speakers. So giving them the chance to get in that mind frame to make their schedule work, to invite people they know to the event and the rest of the process makes it go smoother. A last minute ask for an interview from interviewer can make the author feel like they were not never meant to do that interview, because they could think that the interviewer had three, four, five authors lined up first, and there was a last minute opening, or someone dropped out of it, so they just picked someone from a hat, and you happen to be the author. So that could make an author feel like you don't really want to interview them. So plan ahead. A month is perfect. 2 weeks is not bad, but use a month as your time frame. Number four, confirm if the author has an official email publicly available before you contact them from a different means. A lot of authors try to make their profession as professional as possible, so they have emails dedicated to their writing and work as an author. And people on Twitter, Instagram, the rest have that information available. So you can easily go to an author's profile to find their email links and send a proper formal email asking for an interview. Do not be so quick to jump into their DMs. The culture of DMs makes passing information a bit casual, and that can affect how the author feels about your approaching them for an interview. I've seen cases where someone who's looking for an interview just sends hi or a hello in the DMs and leaves it that way. And obviously, it will take a huge leap of faith for someone or an author to reply to that message. And sometimes when they do reply, the follow-up message is never polite, never formal, and that can make them feel like when you interview them, you also would not take them seriously. This is their profession, it's not just a side hustle. So they want to be taken seriously. Number five, give a precise description of the goal of the interview. There are different reasons to interview an author. One, to get the overall idea of who the author is. Two, for a new release. Three, for all their books. Four, for their opinions of different things in the writing or publishing world. There's so many reasons an interview can happen. It could also be to promote the author. It could also be to promote yourself or promote a specific type of writing in the country or around the world. So many reasons can lead to an interview. Letting the author know the reason you're inviting them specifically will help them know if it's kind of interview they can do. Will help them feel like you actually thought about it before going on to invite them. If you don't do that process, again, author could feel like they're a last minute choice. Number six, clearly states the day, time, location, platform, mode of interview. This clears up a long string of messages so quickly. It makes things easier. If they know the day, they know what to prepare for. If they know the time, they know if it works for them, because some authors are busy in the evening, some are busy in the morning. Figuring that out quickly makes things easy. Location is also important because some people might not be physically present on the day you want the interview to happen, so letting them prepare for that helps. And some authors like physical or online. Some authors are adverse to online interviews, some are adverse to written interviews, different types of interviews some authors are more comfortable with. So letting them know what type, what form of interview it is, the mode, the platform, will help them prepare. Either know if they can do it, know if they can't do it, or get in the mind state to do that particular type of interview. And lastly, let the author clearly know the benefits of this interview. We all know how difficult the writing publishing world is in Nigeria, and every author is doing their best to get their ideas, beliefs, creations out there, their books out there. So if you're going to bring in an author for an interview, they have to know the purpose of it. Are they going to get to sell their books? Are they going to get to promote themselves? Are they doing a collaboration where you're just both gaining from it? There are different reasons an interview can happen, and author has to be prepared to know what it is they're willing to take and what it is they can't take. If they are fine doing a free interview, if they are fine doing an interview where they don't sell any books, if they have a guaranteed sales, things like that can help them know what they're getting into, prepare for it, accept, reject, etc. So these cover the things to do before the interview. Now let's go over the things to do during the interview.